Hello, friends. I'm sorry that this is not consistently the same time every day, but I am doing my best, and soon we will land a time that works consistently. But right now, we're showing up, and that is good. I wanted to just chat about Theyre watching. The reason I titled it that way is because I'm a mom, but some of you might not be a parent yet. And for me, it's just super highlighted that my kids are watching, and it's even more of that realization that you are a leader, you are an influencer to some degree with those around you. Even if you don't know that the people around you are noticing or observing, they are. There's people that will be influenced by you even if you're not a titled leader of any sort, okay? You're just an regular old person just walking around doing your life the best you can. But guess what? Even if you don't acknowledge it and you're not intentional about how you're leading or what you're doing to influence people, it's happening. This is a rude awakening I had. Hey, Claudette, good morning. Thanks for joining live. Love to see you there. By the way, let's get this taken care of. If you're watching on the YouTubes, go ahead and hit subscribe and hit the bell to get notified, because that is going to be the best way to keep up with these videos that we're doing. And as we add in interviews, go ahead and check out my YouTube channel. There are already some pretty bomb interviews on there, just bringing to you guys the ordinary people like you and me making extraordinary choices and decisions and living lives that have been touched by miracles, pretty much. And on these channels, on this side of social media, I want to talk a lot about hearing the voice of God and actually moving and walking in the Spirit. Today, we're talking about Theyre watching. Who's they? People around you. But mostly I'm going to narrow in on moms and parents because, oh, great, Claudette. You pop in and out as you need to. I would love for you to be on the YouTube channel. It's going pretty well over there. My kids are watching, and that was a rude awakening to me. It was like, oh my goodness, I just didn't really realize how much imitation there would be. It's not that every single thing that is that they're doing or that they feel or say is related to you having instilled it in them. They come out fully their own person and with their own makeup inside, their own DNA and their own personality and all of that, already God-given characteristics and attributes, okay? But, we do become what we feed. So having said that, the reason that I'm stirred up to talk about this today is just thinking about something that I didn't mean to be, but I was in my youth. When I was 18, I decided to cut my hair really short. I thought, it'll grow back. And I can show you pictures of that. I shaved my hair off. It was a very fun and funny process because I really had long, thick hair and everybody loved my hair. Everybody just loved my hair and they did not want me to cut it off. So I went to my mom's friend. Hey, Judy, I'll shout out to Judy. And I told her, I said, I want you to cut my hair really, really short, like maybe even shave it off. And it was just so hard for her that she kept cutting shorter and shorter on my hair. And I was like, more. And I'm 18, okay? When you're 18, let's think about this. When you're younger, you're super, and maybe some people are more cautious, and I was cautious in certain arenas, but in this, I was like, logically thinking my hair will grow back. It's not going to be forever, so it's worth the risk to me. It's a calculated risk, which is what I would tell you is real faith, is calculated risk, because you know who you're putting your faith in is, when you're a believer. Okay, so I'm like shorter. And, you know, it took a really long time because she really just didn't want me to be upset. And she was like, what if you don't like it? And maybe we could just keep going shorter and then, you know, give it a time and then you can come back for it. And I was like, no, I've decided, because I actually am an internal processor. So I already thought a lot about this and I made a decision. So nobody was changing my mind at that point. So anyways, we got to the shaved head and I was like, this is awesome. And I went out from there and this is the part of the story that's related to what I'm talking about that I want to highlight. I went to work and I was a waitress, and my boss at the time called me in her office and was like, is everything okay? And I was like, yeah, why? You know, she's like, well, you know, you went from long hair to no hair, and I just want to make sure everything's okay. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm fine. But the conversation continued on that I needed to ask permission to cut my hair off before I did because it affects her business. And obviously I was 18, so, you know, I was not as mature maybe in my response, but I feel like, so basically I talked with her. She was actually she was my friend before, so it was a little bit different, but I talked with her in real ways. And I just said to her, I don't think that that's right that I needed to ask your permission to cut my hair off. And also all of my tables are complimenting my hair and saying they wish that they had the boldness to cut their own hair off. We had a lot of regulars at the restaurant, and you know, I understand where she's coming from, but that's not the point. The point isn't the conversation and stuff, but the point is the way that I felt inside was, you know, I am not going to make decisions and set up my life according to my job. And the people at my job won't dictate how I live my life, basically. And I'm not saying that there isn't reason and purpose in signing signing documents that say you will make sure that you're aligned with the job that you're at and their beliefs. But there's times when that changes, and you now have to decide that I hope you guys are getting what I'm saying, okay? At some point, you might have to decide that you don't align anymore with what's being required of you to be able to stay at that job. Okay. So this is just a simple, totally might be a issue for most people to have a requirement about how you wear your hair. Okay. A lot of job places want you to have makeup on and look presentable and not wear wrinkled clothes and stuff like that. And some places you're going to have uniforms and all of that. I mean, I just put my kids in a private Christian school, and I'm happy that they're wearing uniforms because that eliminates some of the comparison stuff that happens that doesn't need to happen at this age, right? So I'm fine with signing that I agree to them wearing uniforms. So I'm not saying that there isn't a place for that, but I'm saying that sometimes you might find yourself in a position where now you don't agree, but you feel like you have to sign your life away and your moral standards, or even something you just care a lot about, that they're requiring you to live a life that you don't agree with. And you don't have a choice in your mind because you feel like now you're stuck because you have responsibilities and you need to show up, and you need to show up for the other people, but you also need to show up for your family, and you need to pay for your mortgage, and you need to pay for all the things that you are responsible for now. This is coming up as a subject matter because I realize that I've always felt like I will not be owned by anyone. Maybe as a believer, it feels like that's a wrong way of thinking. I don't know, but it is definitely not anti-biblical concept. Okay. It's not, it's actually totally biblical to be in debt to no one. Basically, you know, it's like my whole goal through my life has been like, I won't be, I will make choices based on my belief system with God and how I have faith in him, and not in the systems of man, and not also in not making money the only decision making factor. Now, if you have to make decisions based on money, that is because you know, we're kind of tied into something that feels like we can't get out of it. It feels like we're stuck. But I want to tell you that you know, you're not stuck, and there are ways to make money outside of being confined by a culture, in a culture that you don't agree with, or you don't want to participate in. So in that sense, when I was 18 and that conversation happened, I walked away thinking, I don't need this job. I can always find another one. Where I think that the manipulation of the job fields and even of our own mindset is we're raised to believe that we have to go through the school system. We've got to get to the school end, and then we need to get a job. And that's the whole goal and point. I have never believed that or had that mindset, and I thank God for that. But at 8 years old, my girls are talking about getting a job, that someday they'll get the job. And I'm thinking, no, you won't, because you have everything you need in your heart and your mind and we're building skills that people will need, and you don't need to work for someone else. So I'm already having these conversations with my daughters, because guess what? They're watching, and I'm telling them what I'm doing, and I'm telling them why, and I'm showing them, obviously age appropriate, guys. And when questions come up, they need to be answered by you, or they're going to go and find the answer somewhere else. This is super important to realize, that you have to make time to answer the questions of your children. You know, it's like there's a lot of hands-off parenting right now, like a lot of concept of take your hands off and let your kids lead and all of that. I think that that's appropriate in certain instances, but a lot of times people have already had a lot of hand in what their kid is doing. You're influencing your kid, whether you want to or not, whether you are thinking that you're giving the kids the choice. They're choosing based on what they've already been exposed to, what they've already seen, what they know, what you've already been doing. I'm just telling you that intentional hands-off parenting, where you go, I've trained my kids, and now I'm going to see how they respond to that training and what their choices would be. It's really how God does it too, right? He does train us up. He gives us opportunity to choose healthy and helpful ways without quenching our creative nature, which he also instilled in us. So all I'm saying, I guess, is that our kids are watching, other people are watching, and who's going to be the ones to step up and step out and be courageous and lead the charge? I feel a strong and deep conviction that I want to help people out of these places that I would call prisons, that I would call already bound to man and bound to man's decrees over them and man's choices for them, and not God's. God's thoughts are so much higher. God's ways are so much better than ours. And so if you don't know where to start, connect with me. I can help you. Definitely take time to ask the Lord about these things that are on your heart that's stirring up. I know you have stuff stirring up in your heart. I am not the only one. I know that. I know I'm not the only one feeling the weight of the season and the need to get out from under the thumb of other people's decisions for me. Some people might call that rebellious. I would say that rebellion is a heart posture and a heart matter, and most things are. And it's very easy to mistake immaturity for rebellion, and also right now making an educated decision to go against the grain, by definition, might be rebellion. Okay. But it doesn't mean that it is wrong or negative. It could actually be the change. Like, I mean, what if nobody in our history would have gone the opposite of what was being said about them or to them? I mean, Einstein, for instance, you know, I can't even think Steve Jobs, for instance. I mean, who wants to be a part of the movement of the future and to change the future from generation to generation? I mean, there's a lot of avenues, not just technology, that can happen in. You can actually, you yourself can change the future of your genealogy as well, of your gene system, by the way that you behave today. It's not one choice. It's choice by choice, moment by moment, yes by yes, to the things that are supporting and building in the right direction. So all of this is about me telling you, you can do it. I hope that I will give you courage as I step out, and we're just the same person, just wanting better things for our families, wanting to have more choice and not be tied or making choices because of the responsibilities that we have, but rather having an ability to create the source and income from another place so that we can actually have more say over what's going on in our sphere, meaning our home life, our family life, not an illusion of choice, okay? That you really actually can decide for yourself how you're going to move forward and what's worth the price that you're going to pay. So invest in yourself. You are your greatest asset. Your mind, your skills that you've already got, everything in your history up till now can be used to serve the greater purpose. If it is submitted to God, He will show you the way forward. So that's the first step. And if you want to do it with a community and with people that are cheering you on to go, and to become all that we know that you can become, then join me in my community. I just added another income stream to my basket, so to speak. So many eggs in the basket means that you have many options of income, and you don't have to rely upon one thing in order to be able to be free in your choice making and in your finances. And I'm training my kids this way because I want them to know that they are not bound by the cultural choices for them. Okay, so that there's not a link for that, so you're going to have to contact me because I want to make sure that this is a good fit for you. And I have a couple of options if this particular one is not a good fit for you. But let's chat and we'll figure that out. Okay, guys, thanks for joining me, whether now or in the future. You can still message me if this is a future watch, and we'll get you taken care of. Okay. Bye, guys.